Welcome to History Nuts. I'm Russ Carson Jr., the founder of Family Tree Nuts. At Family Tree Nuts, we build family trees for people, and we produce videos at historic locations and videos that help to honor your ancestors.
I'm Jameson Cable, founder of the Kentucky History Podcast, where we talk about anything Kentucky history, events, people. If it has to do with Kentucky, we're going to discuss it.
And we've teamed up together to bring you History Nuts.
History Nuts is a live show where we talk about, you guessed it, history.
Right. History seems to be less and less to people today, but we are trying to do everything we can to keep it alive.
Absolutely. History is a passion of ours for sure, but it connects to you. Russ, tell us about the best part of the show.
You can join in. You can comment and ask questions live.
We've got a great topic today, and we know you're going to enjoy this episode of
History Nuts. I don't hear them, but I think we're live, Jameson.
I think we're live too. I think we're live.
Hey, everybody, this is Russ from Family Tree Nuts, and we've got a great show tonight, man, don't we?
We do. Another intriguing historical person from Kentucky.
Very intriguing. And I just want to go on record for two things. One, we are not the absolute experts about the subject tonight, but we do know quite a bit about them. And two, Jameson, my friend here, keeps selecting the topics. He goes from hookers and boozers kind of thing. So,
well, I don't know about that exactly. If that's what you want to say, you're in the decision-making process as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll do something a little bit different, but we got a great show tonight. We're going to talk about William King Solomon, the town drunk.
The town drunk. That's a good description. But whenever I first heard of King Solomon, I was like, who could be named King Solomon? Yeah. And it's crazy because I really don't know how he got the name King. But obviously I think good. The biblical person, King Solomon. But I don't know.
Yeah, has something to do with that. That's for sure.
Yeah. But
hey, let me interrupt you 1 second.
Go ahead.
Interrupt you 1 second. Make sure, you guys, that you give us some comments. Comment with us. Remember, we can see it live and we can discuss that right here. So we encourage all the comments. We also encourage. Tell us where you're from, kind of thing. It's always neat to see. We're all over the country here, and we'd like to see where it's coming from. So let us know who's watching. So, all right, I'll turn back over to you, bud.
Well, I'll throw in this last thing. Hit share the video. All you have to do is click share on the left side and share it out as well. And two, we are going to have a contest this week. We're going to give something away. We're going to give it away next week, but we're going to present our giveaway this week.
It doesn't matter. Don't even bother entering. You said I was going to enter it. You said I was going to enter it.
Man, we weren't supposed to announce that. Wow.
No, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah.
So
the show.
I'll give you a preview. We'll talk about the details at the end. That's fine.
What was that anyway? But all right. So our subject tonight: William King Solomon, the absolute town drunk that turned into a hero. A hero, absolutely, for sure.
How would a drunk become a hero?
We're going to find out, aren't we? So, of course, King Solomon, he was born, I think, 1775 or something like that, I think, and Virginia. And he says that he grew up very near where Henry Clay was born.
Yep.
And said that he was used to play with Harry, called him Harry.
Well, and that's one thing that out of all of, I guess if you want to call it my research or reading into it, he wasn't necessarily poor. He wasn't really rich, but he wasn't like, he was kind of in the middle as far as I know. He wasn't like this dirt poor guy that just got drunk. He had a bit of stability, but at some point he started liking the booze a little too much.
A man of some means, kind of thing, but he did like the booze kind of thing. But I see Cam says, hi from Richmond, Kentucky. I have no idea where that is.
Oh,
that's the center of the universe, isn't it?
That's right. I lived in Richmond. I lived in Richmond for my college years.
Okay. He's an EKU colonel.
Yeah.
And, Joyce.
All right, go Maroon.
That's right. That's right. My son actually has an offer there. But anyway, but Joyce says, "Hey, from Lexington." I visited with Joyce today. Joyce does
Cool.
a tremendous amount of history in the Central Kentucky area,
Mhm.
and so we got together. Couldn't believe it was a whole nother. It's been a year since we've got together, but she's got so much planned to talk about with the history of Central Kentucky. So that's awesome. Geraldine says hi from Hamilton, Ohio. Nancy Haggard Davis says Ohio, but reside in Clark County, Kentucky. Sue says hello from Indian Oldfields, Kentucky. You ever heard of Indian Oldfields, Jameson?
I'm not sure where that is. Where is that?
Have you ever heard of, check this out, Eskippathiki?
Whoa. No.
Right. Eskippathiki. It's the last known Indian village in Kentucky, and up to the 1750-ish or something like that. So, but anyway, get back into King Solomon here.
Yeah.
So,
I'll start off too.
Mary Grace says, "Hey there from Cedro Woolley, Washington." No, the other Washington. So she's from Washington, way
State.
out. Mary Grace says, "So Washington State."
Yeah. Well, and two, before we get into it, if you want to learn more about King Solomon, there's a book by Terry Foodie, and it's called "The Pie Seller, the Drunk, and the Lady." And then there's a bunch of short stories by James L. Allen that you can check out too. Just that's some of the places I got some of my information, and of course there's loads more. I would like to be able to sit around and read all the time, but I cannot.
I know who the pie seller is. That's pretty cool. Linda Harvey says hello from Frenchburg. So basically, he loved the liquor.
And he did
odd jobs. William King Solomon did. He filled potholes, dug cisterns, dug wells,
ditch digger,
did menial labor, ditch digger. Yeah, he was basically the Otis. I know you watch Andy Griffith kind of thing because
maybe with my great grandma.
You don't watch Andy Griffith?
I mean, I did a little bit, but I mean, it was never one of those shows I just watched constantly or anything. Yeah,
I watch it most every day, along with Gunsmoke. But my mind is in a different era.
Younger generation.
I read, you definitely are a younger generation. So, but I'm glad you're involved and interested in the history stuff. So, Nancy Haggard Davis says no research is in. Christy Baker said hello from Lisbon, Ohio. I think that's way up north around Cleveland, up there. And Carolyn said hello from Tennessee. But I read about his appearance. He said he wore the same dusty hat, the same baggy pants. His face was round and as wrinkled as his clothes. So,
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I think we're still good. You had a little lag there. This is live, folks, and unrehearsed.
Yeah, so he was a big old ditch digger. It was very often he would wind up waking up on some store's foot, or door, and they'd have to run him off and all that sort of stuff. He was the town drunk for sure, and a lot of people knew him.
Yeah, well, he was well liked too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't, I guess, a bad town drunk. It was a good one,
right? He was amicable, they said. They liked him, Again, we'll talk about that at the end about his legacy and things. But he was a very well liked guy. He wasn't just he wasn't busting out windows and and things like that. So, Did you say you didn't know how he got his name, King Solomon?
No, tell us that, because I did not know.
Well, in Lexington, Kentucky, where he lived, he got a job to trim some trees outside of a dry goods store. And he started doing trees, but he realized he needed a whiskey break. Some of us take water breaks, but he took one of his whiskey breaks. But after finishing his whiskey break, he climbed back into trees. People gathered around, and he was sawing away on a branch, sawing away. The problem is he was actually sitting on the branch that he was sawing. So he falls down right in front of all these people that saw him. He's not hurt, but quite a humorous sight, of course, as you can guess. And they said, surely only a person surely only a person with the wisdom of the biblical King Solomon can do the task that he does. So from there on out, he was known as King Solomon.
There you go. Well, there you go. That's pretty good.
It sounds like a Tom and Jerry skit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Are you too young for Tom and Jerry?
No, I do know Tom and Jerry.
Okay.
I do know Tom and Jerry.
All right.
But the thing that kind of gets King Solomon, or takes this story on the most unique turn, is in 1792 they passed what's called vagrant law. Am I saying that right? Vagrant or vagrant law?
Vagrant.
A vagrant law, and pretty much anybody who was just idle and sat around, in his case, and passed out drunk, they put him in jail. And so he was put in jail multiple times because, he was, drunk often, probably always. And then he gets sold on the auction block into slavery. And the thing is, he was a white man. I think it was the Irish descent. Do you know that for sure? I think he had red hair. I think that was the case. Can you confirm that?
I don't know. I don't know that.
I think. I think.
Why has he got to be Irish? Why has he got to be? Because he's a drunk. He's got to be Irish. I'm sick of your racial stereotypes, James.
I did not say that.
That one's probably true, though. That one's probably true, though. I'll give you that one.
So he was auctioned off.
Familiar experience.
They're in Lexington, and if you ever in downtown Lexington, there's a historical marker there. I think we can show it up here of the slave block or the auction block in Lexington, which happened for a long time. I think it's coming up. Is it coming up?
That's
not it.
Picture to his grave marker.
Okay. So. Well, talk about his grave marker.
We'll talk about that at the end.
There we go.
There you go. Cheapside.
There you go. So you can. That's there for looks. But the slavery auction block was there for a long time. But it was very odd because it was a unique situation because he had a friend, and I don't know how much their relationship was or what the relationship was technically, but he had a friend named Charlotte who was a free black woman who bought him for $13 on the slave auction. It is. And according to one of Alan's stories here, is that she outbid Transylvania University students.
Yeah.
Now, these weren't just regular students, though. These were medical students.
So, what they want him for?
What would a medical student want with the town drunk?
They thought he was pretty much at the end of his life.
Yeah. So that's really crazy. They were about to buy him and probably operate on him or do some sort of, I don't know. That's what they were waiting on. That's crazy. That's really kind of morbid to think about, that they were going to buy him. They were trying to buy him just to operate on him. It's wild. But anyway, that's kind of where his story takes his unique turn because he was bought in slavery.
I saw a couple different,
Go ahead.
Well, they said there's a couple discrepancies. He might have been 50 cents that she bought him for. It might have been 13 cents. I've seen $13.
I might have said
earlier today, $1. But there's a lot of different stories. But either way, he was a free white man sold into slavery, purchased by a free black woman who had previously been a slave herself. Who is and her name was Aunt Charlotte. Who is Aunt Charlotte?
See, I don't know as much about her. She started an orphanage, I believe. Is that right, or what did she start? She started. I know she had something to do with that orphanage, but she was obviously an enslaved woman, and Virginia, her owners eventually passed away, gave her freedom and gave her some land. But the way she kept the way she survived is she had a bakery business. She made baked goods, pies, and things like that. They call her Aunt Charlotte. They've also called her Gingerbread Charlotte. And so to me, that's another story right there alone. Is she? Because here's a woman that was, of course, born enslaved and earned her freedom and became an entrepreneur. Had a successful business there in Lexington. And this is 1833. Yeah. This is the 1833 cholera breakout in Lexington, and it was a terrible time. But another thing to think about Charlotte here and her connection to King Solomon. If she didn't buy him on the auction block, this whole story goes away. And what happens here in a minute when we get to that part, it doesn't happen. And it's a big. It's kind of interesting how one decision kind of really helped out the whole city of Lexington in the end there. But there was two cholera outbreaks, and we got a few pictures here of some cholera outbreaks. And I mean, it just you are the medical professional, so let's hear, what is cholera?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a medical professional. Yeah, it was history class, not the biology. Cholera is but I know cholera for sure. But cholera is a disease that is passed via generally fecal matter or poor sanitation. Also passed by the water sources and stuff. And once it gets in the water, it's generally hard to filter out. It can be in one location, go underground, and pop up in another, and you can drink it. So you're pretty messed up then.
Yeah. And some of these pictures here, they're just pictures of the 1930s cholera outbreak. It wasn't just in Lexington; it happened all over the place. But it's so interesting. When I was doing some of the research, like, people thought that cholera was airborne, and the people of Lexington actually thought that they were going to be okay from it because they were on a bit of a higher elevation than normal, than I guess other places. Wow. And so they thought, well, it won't get up to us. But obviously they didn't know how cholera was spread and all that stuff. But just a little side note. I mean, of course, it got there and it ran through the town completely.
Yeah, right.
I think it was like one in 12 people would die. But go ahead.
Well, at the time, the population of Lexington was roughly about 6,000 people, but the end result is approximately 500 people died. Like you said, that I guess that's close to 10% there, I guess. But but that's a lot of people. Just imagine that. I mean, we talk about the virus that we got going on right now, but imagine 1 in 10 people or so. 1 in 11 or 12 people. Everybody's gone.
Yeah. Well, and somebody could get it, and they'd be dead in 12 hours. I mean, it was so quick. And and it's interesting. But getting back to King Solomon, so he's Charlotte has purchased him, and he's still kind of the town drunk. It's not like he's still doing much, but he ends up passing out. The cholera outbreak starts, and he wakes up like 2 days later, and all these people are dying. And I mean, think about coming off of a drunk, and everybody's dying. It's not going to be too.
He must have really been a drunk. I've never heard of anybody sleeping 2 days, from a drunk. So, but
the outbreak is going on. It's crazy. It's getting rough. What does King Solomon do? I mean, where does he get his fame? How does he earn his fame?
Well, hang on a second. But Faye says hello from Richmond, Kentucky. Never heard of that before. But I'd actually know you, Faye. You probably don't. I don't know if you recognize me or not. We used to be in Sunday school class together a long time ago. But and then Sue said it's a bacteria called cholerae. I guess we've got a botanist or chemist on here. But and Linda Kellogg Bale says, "Hey, hello from Bean Station." Bean Station's definitely a place we need to go visit. That's a very historic place, just on the other side into Virginia there. Lisa Watson Pennington says, hi from Carlisle, Ohio. Sue says she's our medical expert chiming in again. I think she's actually a phlebotomist. Which causes dehydration. Simple cure, you must rehydrate, just not with their water. Maybe whiskey. Don't ruin the story, Sue.
Come on.
Whiskey. So but, that's the whole subject of tonight. But so Solomon, basically, people fled to the outer counties. They were scared to death to live in there. People are dying, moving out into the county. The streets were bare, and Solomon he basically runs his cart right up and down the streets of Lexington, and he starts gathering up the dead and burying the dead and digging graves and such like that, which is what he was skilled at in the first place. But the good part about that is that by burying the dead, it was less contamination around and saved likely hundreds, if not thousands, of lives. Yeah.
It was kind of one of those perfect storms in Lexington, if you want to call it that, as far as for the cholera, because it was like real hot summer. They had bathhouses and all that stuff, so people were just needing water more, so everybody was just going to the water. But then once he stepped up basically and took over as far as burying the dead. He dug and buried day in and day and night, and But how did he not get it himself?
Well, I guess, and you need to be exposed to the fecal matter or drink water. So
say that again.
You need to be exposed to the fecal matter, I guess, or drink contaminated water.
How did King Solomon not get it? How did he not die from it?
Well, he didn't drink water. He hydrated in other ways. And so due to his love of the whiskey,
he was able. I mean, I wouldn't say that he was immune from it, but I mean, he wasn't able to contract it because he was well drunk all the time, and
sure,
digging and working. And I mean, that's the thing. Now, I'm not for sure if at some point, I don't know. Whenever I don't know what happened to Charlotte. Did she get it and die?
She died. She died. She died from the cholera epidemic, unfortunately. And there's an town over Charlotte Court was named after her. It was a housing development area in Lexington. So, but we'll save Charlotte for another story because
we will.
I think she's somebody of note that we need to bring up. A freed black woman that has a successful business and a pretty interesting character herself. But that's definitely a story we need to do.
Yeah.
So he said, did you know that Solomon had a couple of helpers during all this?
I did not know. Who helped him? I mean, I think Charlotte was one of them, but we'll not to say she was digging, but go ahead.
Yeah, she passed, but there's some interesting characters. There was a Reverend London Farrell who helped him, which actually was a freed black man that helped him, named Reverend London Farrell. And then there was a young lieutenant who was freshly graduated from West Point. Got stationed in Lexington. Somebody that you might have heard before had the job to work with the freed black man and the town drunk King Solomon. A man by the name of Lieutenant Jefferson Davis.
What?
You ever heard Jefferson Davis?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, man. The eventual president of the Confederacy.
Really?
Was out there.
Wow.
About 32 years later. But he was fresh out of West Point. Was one of the ones.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is the gold nugget you found. That's
yeah, man. That's one of those. Did you know?
That's pretty cool.
Things. So, I thought that was privates, not lieutenants, that were out doing the bad digging work. But Jefferson Davis was a graduate of Transylvania University, so that's another reason why he was in Lexington. So he becomes a hero, saves tons of lives and things like that. Doing that, and he buried tons of people. It's over off Old 3rd Street. Do you know when he died?
It was 1854, I believe. And see, there was another cholera outbreak in 1849. I don't think it was as bad as the 1833 one, but he did the same thing. I think for when that one broke out too. Did he though end up dying from cholera? Did he eventually get it? Is that what his?
No, I don't know what he died from, but might have probably scoliosis. What's the word? Sclerosis of the liver. Not scoliosis. Sclerosis. Cirrhosis. There you go. Like I said, history is my subject, buddy. But he did pass away, and he's buried in Lexington Cemetery. One of the things I found a diary entry from the Reverend that did his funeral, and this kind of tells you a little bit about his legacy and such. And I thought this was really cool. I'm just going to read it verbatim. It's a diary entry from Reverend William M. Pratt. This is pretty cool. Preached the funeral today of old King Solomon, 79 years old.
Wow.
He was born the same year with Henry Clay, and he had drunk more whiskey enough to float a man of war. So if you don't know what a man of war is, that's a big old ship, back of the time. He was once a person of considerable enterprise and business, but he had been given to drink a great many years, and yet was inoffensive and was of great integrity. Quite a number of citizens attended his funeral, and he had a good coffin worth $30. Some 17 carriages proceeded to the cemetery.
Wow.
So thought that was a pretty neat,
Yeah.
example of his legacy. He's 79 years old, and a lot of the town came out
Yeah.
to pay their respects and
Mm-hmm.
things. And many years later, in 1908, they built him a monument.
Yeah.
Jordan, do you have a picture of his gravesite there and his monument there? But
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I think that they fundraised and put it up. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's really an amazing story when you think about. I mean, he was a town drunk. I mean, not that he wasn't useless, I guess, but at his point, he began to he helped out the city in a way that a lot of people probably couldn't, and saved
Sure.
loads of lives. I mean,
right, and an unlikely hero.
yeah, that's a great description. Yeah,
an unlikely hero, and any of us could find that ourselves in that situation, kind of thing. So at any moment's time, but his gravesite, if you want to go look for him, he's in Lexington Cemetery, not too far, right up north of Rupp Arena. But he is, as soon as you come in, it's Section A, right on the right. Now, I must admit, I've spent a whole lot of time in cemeteries, and it took me maybe 30 minutes to find this guy's grave. Okay, so he's in Section A, Lot 48. Should be easy to find, right? I looked all over the place for Section A, but guess what? If you finally look at the map, there is a special section called A-48 right across the road from Section A. He's got his own little corner right there.
Oh,
so make sure you look for him. There is a big old sign that you can't miss, but it's just across the little path there from Section A where you can find him. Lots of people leave things behind right there and things too. So that's where he's buried. As soon as you come in Lexington Cemetery, maybe not 50 yards inside the gate there. So
yeah. It's a unique story, man. I mean, it doesn't get too much more unique than that.
Faye says, I've read a story by Allen in the book about Kentucky authors. And check that one out for sure. Sue said, nothing under heaven and earth, just like today. There are different ways of processing how to live through historic events. King Solomon, through his faults, obviously had the character of the real King Solomon. Cool.
There you go.
Wonder what quote that's from. Wonder who quoted that. That's pretty cool. He's definitely a special guy. So definitely a story. It was neat to do a story about the unlikely hero. So did you want to talk about your
giveaway?
Yeah.
All right, and I'll just start talking about it. So we got this cool powder horn here, and I mean it doesn't open or anything like that, but it's got a nice little leather strap. And I got this, of course, at Fort Harridan. Jordan can put it up there on the screen there for a better shot. But very simple. I put a post on the Facebook page with the picture of the horn there. And all you got to do is tag a friend in the comments and answer a question. The question is simple. And if you want to answer the question in the comments here, you can go ahead and do it if you want. If you could talk to one historical figure from America, who would it be and why? I mean,
wow.
Don't want to put you on the spot, but who would it be for you? I bet you I can guess
Andrew Jackson.
Ow, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, man. Scots Irishmen that come from nowhere, lost everything, and became absolutely on the top. So,
and of course, like and share the post. Of course, those are all, or like the page and share the page, and of course, and all that. Of course, the more times you do it, the more people you comment on or you put it on there, the more times you're entered. I guess if you want to say it that way. Some people that have won the contest before were really tickled when they got their gifts. So that's really
hatchet
cool. That we gave away. She got her hatchet this week. Said she loved it. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, but yeah, a powder horn. The frontiersmen, they always had to keep the powder dry. So
yep, absolutely, without a doubt. Teresa Kern-Vo says
yes,
hello.
That's Teresa. And, she won the hatchet.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah. So she's already commented. She's commented twice. George Rogers Clark and Thomas Jefferson. So she's got a head start on you folks.
Yeah,
but those are definitely people that I'd like to talk to.
She'll have her own collection before if people don't get on it.
she'll be outfitted as a frontierswoman. but yeah. So tell them Jameson, how they can find you.
So on Twitter and Facebook, just search at KY History Pod. You can find us on both those platforms. If you want to listen to the podcast, Kentucky History Podcast, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Just search Kentucky History Podcast. It'll be the first one to pop up. If you go to our Facebook page, I even did a little video to show you how to get the podcast. So
yeah,
that's where you can find me.
That, yeah.
So we get our another plug here. Our season 2 starts this Sunday with Dr. Nancy Theis. She wrote a book, and she's putting on another podcast that also starts on September 1st about the Underground Railroad in Kentucky, which I'll be featured in. So go check that out.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, that's great stuff. I love love your podcasts and things like that. So it's definitely informative, and I've learned a whole lot from them too. So. And Nancy, Teresa says, "Love the hatchet, thanks." And Carolyn says, "Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier." And that's definitely a really unique individual for sure. Love Davy Crockett. I grew up on Davy Crockett. And Teresa said Daniel Boone. So, but absolutely, some things going on real fast at Family Tree Nuts. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got some big video shots to do, videos to do in the next few days. We're going to be down on the Kentucky River, on the river, doing some stuff for the Paddlers Association, covering the history of the Palisades and things there. And the Athens-Boonesboro Road between Boonesboro and Athens, Kentucky, is becoming a Daniel Boone Heritage Highway. So we're going to be documenting all the sites on there. And that's coming out. Lots and lots and lots of videos are rolling out right now. So be looking for those. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of stuff is coming out. And also, too, Keeneland, we're getting ready to start doing a whole bunch of documenting the history of Keeneland, the racetrack that's there. It's really famous.
Hey, if you want to know anything about Keeneland. Go ahead.
Yeah. If I don't know anything about Keeneland,
I was going to say,
where you lose all your money?
Well, yeah. But I know a lot about valeting cars at Keeneland. I've valeted cars at Keeneland in college.
We'll do a story on that. The history of valeted cars. That's for sure. Linda says the Kentucky Long Hunters. Nancy says that Captain William Wells. I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to look that one up. Do you know who Captain William Wells is?
I know the name. I've read it somewhere, but not at the moment. Not on top of my head. I'll say
Nancy. She also says Andrew Jackson. Joyce says Belle Breezing. We just talked about last week, and she says she wants to know why her house was passed on to a black woman.
Hey, that would be a good
Joyce
question.
and I talked about this today. She has a theory, some pretty good theories that she might have been half black herself. She also wonders if her daughter that we said was sent away might have been a black child too. So that's an interesting story. We're going to have to talk more about that. So Joyce is adding a lot to it for sure. Nancy said Daniel Morgan. Is that Captain Morgan? Daniel Morgan. The Revolutionary War Daniel Morgan.
Is that the same Morgan?
Linda Kellogg Bale says Harmon. I'm sure she's talking about at Harmon Station out there in what modern day Johnson County. Teresa says, can't wait for season 2. My cousin Charles Wethington was president of the University of Kentucky. My mom, Rita Wethington Kern, was his cousin. Richard and Bennett Wethington were some of the first settlers in Casey County, Kentucky, Clemensville. Interesting stuff. Man. We've got a story that hasn't hit yet on Captain Casey, that Casey County's named after. But man, we're going on so many tangents. Joyce and I talked about how with history, so many rabbits we go chasing. It's hard to focus on our drunk friend King Solomon. So anything else you want to say before we take off out of here?
Roger Skaggs here. He's on. He should know about keeping your powder dry for sure. as far as Skaggs go.
Oh yeah,
So,
he's on. Okay,
Yeah.
the most renowned and the most renowned knowledgeable man on Mr. Henry Skaggs, right? So
Yeah, man. I don't have anything
absolutely.
else.
So okay, yeah, man. So we'll sign off for now. Who are we going to do next week?
I mean, I say we leave Charlotte for another time. I definitely need to read up on her a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Who do you think? What do you think?
I got some ideas, but I want to stick off the booze and hookers freaking thing. We need to get off that for a little bit.
Let's get, this is not a comment you would hear a lot, but let's get off the booze and hookers and talk about
yeah. It's supposed to be a family show here, but you keep bringing up all these things we need to talk about. So, but Teresa says, I have a great story. George Weddington was shot by a madam in Owensboro. We can't do madams, not for at least another month. In the late 1880s, she was acquitted of his murder, my great-grandmother's brother.
It's so tough, man.
But Teresa, contact myself or Jameson. We'll do that. Revolutionary War, Daniel Morgan movie, 4th of July was based on him. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. It's hard to know everything about everything, but we can definitely talk about it. So, but hey, you want to say anything else, Jameson?
No, I'm good. Oh, you can do this. You can do the sign off.
Sign off for.
All right, you go ahead.
You want to do it?
No, you.
Okay.
Can do it.
All righty, Jordan. We're getting ready to take off. So hey, remember, family tree nuts. Let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.
Welcome to the YouTube channel of Family Tree Nuts. Here you will find a wealth of videos jam-packed full of history. And our team of videographers make videos all over the country. The types of videos we do fall into 3 groups. First, historic location or people videos. In these videos, we give you a short, to-the-point history of our subject. Let's face it, few of us are going to watch a long video anyway, so we try to give you as many facts as we can, as fast as we can. Many of these videos are done for historical or tourism organizations. Second, ancestor story videos. We team up with our clients at locations relevant to their ancestors, and we tell their stories. You will find incredible histories that many are not aware of, as well as how well-known historical events had an impact on real-life people and how it changed the course of their families. Third, life interviews. How many times have you heard someone say, "Man, I wish I had written down Grandma's stories"? Sadly, we hear this every day. Life interviews are done with the family's elder, and we ask them questions about their lives. These stories are documented here and searchable forever in the voices of their family member. These are absolute treasures. We hope you enjoy what you find on our YouTube channel. We post videos several times a week and sometimes every day. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and share the videos that you think other people would like to see. Don't forget to click the bell to get notifications as to when we post new videos. Thanks for checking us out, and remember, Family Tree Nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.